hearing this is going to be not a traditional State of the Union address.
That's right. Don't expect a laundry list of policy proposals or a legislative agenda that he wants Congress to get to work on over the next 12 months. Instead, this is the president giving a broad speech, looking at bigger themes and looking back on his presidency and what he considers his accomplishments. He's going to be reflective, but the White House says, no, this is not a victory lap. It's not a farewell address. They certainly say he's got gas left in the tank and wants to put his stamp of approval on things over the next 12 months. But certainly the president reflecting on what he says he's gotten done, and I think a nod to some of the things he's been able to work with the Republicans in Congress on, but also laying out an agenda that he hopes the Democrats focus on over the next year out there on the campaign trail.
They keep saying it's not a victory lap, but it does sound like it's legacy building.
Right, not a victory lap, but here are all the great things I've done over the past 7 years, so square that as you will. But, I think one thing that's interesting is the president says he's never been more optimistic about a year ahead than he is right now, but the American people don't agree on that. The vast majority are saying in polls that they think the country is heading on the wrong track. They're especially worried about domestic terrorism. They're worried about the threat from ISIS. On the economy, people are feeling good. Unemployment rate is down, the economy's chugging along, but there are large concerns, and the White House says that's because of the Republicans and what they call an avalanche of negativity out there on the campaign trail. You have folks like Donald Trump saying, let's make America great again. I think you're going to look to see the president tonight, not quote that, but say, here's why he thinks America is great right now.
So this is his sort of, this is his rebuttal to
subtle, right?
All the things that are going on. Nikki Haley is going to give the Republican response. What was the reason she was picked?
This is essentially a tryout to be the number 2 on a potential Republican ticket. This is a vice presidential audition for Nikki Haley. She got a lot of attention last year during the South Carolina Confederate flag debate, and I think she got a lot of credit from Republicans as well as Democrats with how she handled that, how she looked during that whole big, nasty fight down there in her home state. This is a chance to put her again in a national spotlight. It's a hard speech to give. The president gives his speech to an audience of at least half agree with him in the room, the Democratic side, and he's addressing it to the American people. Nikki Haley's just looking at that camera and the person cueing her from behind it. It's a very tough address to give for the opposition party, but certainly one that Nikki Haley is hoping that could launch her potentially onto that ticket before the convention.
It's an interesting point because you might want to put a woman on that ticket to sort of combat the Hillary effect, but also your point about the speech, she's giving a rebuttal on a speech she's never heard or seen.
That's always remarkable on State of the Union night. You got to write that speech ahead of knowing what the president's going to say, even though we kind of know roughly what he's going to talk about. But also how you get those comments reacting from members of Congress before the president has even opened his mouth. They're already sending out their rebuttals or sending out their statements saying they disagree with everything he said. But let's wait and see what he actually has to say.
Karen Travers, ABC News correspondent. Thanks for checking in, Karen.
Thanks. Have a great day.
7:55, Big 550 KTRS. That Flint, Michigan water story is